All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is pretty fair to say that the Genshin Impact community has been absolutely imploding over the past couple of days. And the reason for this kind of like self-immolation, this complete destruction of everything that we once held true, the reason for all of that going on is due to one person, the voice actor for Paimon, Zulu and Lima Corina. They have gone ahead and they've basically completely crashed out on the entire Genshin Impact community. And we've got another content creator over here, Hero Hey, going ahead and breaking it all down. We've been keeping ourselves pretty acquainted with the issue. And Hero Hey, in my opinion, does an incredible job of like getting a bunch of glue, getting a bunch of different resources. And I wanted to see what his take is and what we can add on to it. So with that, let's go ahead, let's take a peek at it and see what we find.
Well, guys, it looks like we have our 5th installment of the ongoing coverage regarding a number of SAG-AFTRA union voice actors and the union itself getting a ton of backlash from the internet. Like I said yesterday, there is so much context to go over now that hopefully you're in the loop with what's been going on, and if not, please consider checking out my prior videos on the topic, as there's way too much to recap here in the intro, so let's get right to it.
I'm gonna make my attempt to do an abridged recap as fast as possible about what's going on. So essentially, we had a VA, Jacob Takanashi, replace the role of Kenichi in Genshin Impact. And so what happened after Jacob Takanashi replaced the role from John Patnow was that there was a bunch of VAs like Kaching's VA, Kaylee Mills, you had Paimon's VA, Karima, you had, I believe, Hu Tao's VA as well, Brianna Knickerbocker. They all went ahead and they started dogpiling on the new Kenichi voice actor, Jacob Takanashi. They went ahead and basically said, you should quit the role, you should go uncredited, why are you doing this all for money? You're just a dirty little clout chaser. So they all started jumping on him. But then the Genshin community as a whole, they actually began to realize that well, this is a guy who's like who's raising 2 kids, probably like got married only a couple of years ago, looks super young. He's possibly just doing this because he just needs money to put on the table. He just needs a career. One of the most hypocritical parts was that people were calling him a scab. People were saying that he was like working when he wasn't supposed to be. But the fact of the matter is that Karima, the voice actor for Paimon, has been working the entire time of the strike. And so she is literally one of the biggest scabs in the business when it comes to it. And she's going around, she's pointing fingers, doing all of this stuff, talking about how dare you do this for AI protection? How dare you do this and make this movement so much weaker because of what you're doing? And the end result was that the Genshin community, they did some digging. They did some digging on the matter, and they found out that the true details when it comes to the strike isn't as simple cut and paste as AI protections. That's only about 10% of the agreement. The main focus of the strike was to force Genshin Impact to become unionized, a SAG-AFTRA union game, which would mean that only people from SAG-AFTRA would be able to work on it. This was kind of like the part that sealed the fate of the entire strike. It was when people recognized that union workers, the SAG-AFTRA union workers, should not even be joining a non-union project in the first place. But they have, on their official website, right? They have something addressing that. You should audition for union work. However, you shouldn't just work once you get the offer. You should instead, after you've applied for the role, you've gone through the auditions, and the game developer, they have faith in you in delivering in the role, then you should hold the role hostage, explain why you can't do it unless it's union, and let the producer know that going union is not nearly as complicated or expensive as they might imagine. And so essentially, the SAG-AFTRA way, after this was, released to the public, or the public found this, is to infiltrate projects, pretend to not be union, then reveal after you've gotten the role that you are union, and then basically hold the entire development process for the dub hostage until they become a union project. And that's kind of what's just going on with Genshin Impact. They're literally acting like a mafia or a mob. And now nobody's talking about AI anymore. Nobody is talking about AI anymore. The only thing people are talking about now is how Genshin Impact needs to be a union game. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, the community is not happy. So that's the context. Let's get on. Let's get on with the video.
Paimon's VA admits the goal is to force every VA into joining the union, doesn't even mention AI, and calls us idiots for good measure.
Hopefully that all makes sense now.
Yeah, and then also gets really mad at YouTubers and people who watch YouTube videos, so that'll be fun. But hey, look at that, the video in the post has actually been removed. Now it's got this post is awaiting moderator approval message.
So another thing that the SAG-AFTRA team has been doing is creating a bunch of Reddit accounts, or piloting older Reddit accounts that they're probably getting from some AstroTurf surfing service to mass report any post on the Genshin Impact subreddit that is talking negatively about the strike. They have evidence that there are like a bunch of like older accounts that haven't had activity in like years, just going ahead and now making hundreds of posts defending SAG-AFTRA. Yeah, and then people have seen the post history and they're like, yeah, this is fucking stinky.
This being more of that alleged censorship, people, again, alleging that the defenders of the union are mass reporting these posts to try and get them removed, try to get them censored. A top comment even reading, I'm glad they make it very easy to choose who to support, edit. Oh wow, that was fast. Post is down already. Fortunately, I thought that might happen as it's been a bit of a recurring theme over there lately. And so I recorded the video that was posted just in case that happened, and yeah, we're good to go. So let's take a look, shall we?
Okay, here's the thing.
And now this is Paimon's VA. Notice one thing in particular. Before she says anything, think about why the strike was happening in the first place. Think about what every single VA was saying as the strike was going on. Hoyo won't give us AI protections. Look at this evil company won't sign the interim agreement and give us AI protections. That was the framing of the strike, right? Now let's hear what she has to say.
Voice actors, both non-union and union, in a video game want a game to go union. The game should go union. Nobody else's opinion matters. That's it. And YouTubers don't know anything. YouTubers don't know anything. They're not voice actors. They've never been in my industry. They don't know what my industry is about. They don't know anything about SAG. They don't know anything about being a non-union actor either.
Okay, let's pause already. And
did she say the word AI a single time? Did she say the word AI a single time?
And holy smokes. Okay. Excuse me. The first thing I'd like to mention is the argument about if the voice actors want the
I love how he's like stuttering and taking pauses. Bro took like Hero Hey took like critical damage from that clip. he was like out of breath, like stuttering, just like had to take like a pause to collect himself after that one. Low key, I think all of us did as well.
The project to go union, it should go union, no one else's opinion matters, okay? That thing. It comes off really self-centered to me.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of other labor, a lot of other workers, a lot of other people who work on the game. Lots of developers, artists, etc., etc. And what if any of them have a concern with how a specific union's contract, even if it's a voice actor union, may negatively impact the game, which can absolutely then impact their livelihoods?
I think one thing that a lot of people haven't focused on is the fact that apparently there might be some law in CN that like Hoyo is basically being asked to enter an American union as a Chinese-based company. And we kind of know how CN works, right? I don't know. I'm pretty sure you can't just do that. I'm pretty sure as a CN-based company, we also know Hoyo is affiliated with the CCP. I don't think they can just enter in an American union for fun. There should be at least a little bit of due diligence done to maybe discover that from Paimon's VA's end.
I would say that their opinion also does matter. Like, the whole project is not just, oh, voice actors, and we're the only people that matter on this thing. And the player's opinion also matters too, because the players directly influence how well the game does or doesn't do. And in this case, when various people are, for example, saying that they don't want to pull on certain characters anymore, aka the game's making less money, because they don't like how some of those voice actors have been acting and they don't want to wish for a character that said voice actor does the role for, well, that can negatively impact the player experience and also the labor of the people working on the game. In some cases, the player concern is a different one, simply that some of these characters had voices and now they haven't had voices for a number of months or so. And for those people, it's also leading to a negative player experience. And once again, that can negatively impact the game at large, harming many more people than just the voice actors.
I know there's probably a bunch of people right now that are seeing this shit that VAs like Kaylee Mills, VAs like obviously Korima, and everybody else who's been like dogpiling on the new Kenichi voice actor. There are probably a lot of people that will just like shun any game or any role that has those VAs featured in the future. Because guess what? They're fucking assholes. That's really just what it is. Like, they're dicks. I don't think a single one of them, I don't think any of them have apologized for the way that they've behaved. Right? They're basically pointing fingers, hurling accusations, trying to ruin somebody's career. Right? That is what they're trying to do. They literally wished that the guy never gets any more VA roles in the future. basically shutting off the pipeline for him. They're probably going to try to reach out to all their contacts to like do stuff behind the scenes, pull a bit of an Atsu, a bit of a snake maneuver, and just essentially make sure that he never has another VA role ever again. And when you see that level of malice being displayed publicly, there's a reason why people do it behind the scenes. There are a bunch of people that will look at that and just be like, these people are like fucking bullies. I can't, like, in good faith support any of the shit they're doing moving forward. And I'm gonna be real, I'm kind of just in that boat, because bro literally just hasn't done anything except accept a role. And now we're finding out that the reason the strike was even happening was a complete bullshit reason in the first place. And so honestly, the biggest loser in all of this, you wanna know who the biggest loser in all of this is? This guy is the biggest fucking loser in all of this. Not because he's a bad person, but because he was on strike, or he was not doing the Kenichi role to support the strike. And now because he got replaced, the strike has been absolutely dismantled because of the work of Kaylee Mills, because of the work of Karima. All of these VAs that basically got the Genshin community pissed off and had them do some digging. He basically lost his job for no reason. He basically lost his job for no reason because he was doing it in support of the strike, and now the strike is basically done. Nobody supports it anymore. Just a complete L on every single side for him.
And so all of these various people have a right to be concerned with a contract or action taken by SAG or some other group that can negatively impact the game. And yes, their opinion matters. That's just what I think, though. Let me know what you think in the comments. And continuing.
YouTubers don't know anything. YouTubers don't know anything. They're not voice actors. They've never been in my industry. They don't know what my industry is about. They don't know anything about SAG. They don't know anything about being a non-union actor either. Stop telling me to go to liars. Liars. They are paid to lie to you. Oh.
You wanna know what the funny part is? All the people that she's calling liars, the only thing people have been using to make YouTube videos is they've literally just gone to the SAG-AFTRA website. They've just gone to the SAG-AFTRA website and like pulled direct quotes from SAG-AFTRA themselves. And then she's going ahead and calling everybody a liar when that's what they've just been using the words from the union themselves.
Also, I'm sorry. They have more incentive to lie. They have more of an incentive to lie because idiots like you fall for their shit and they get paid for that.
Isn't that kind of what the VAs have been doing this entire time? Like, honestly, isn't that just what the VAs have been doing the entire time? They've just been lying, right? They've said it was AI from the start, and how the entire interim agreement, all of that, the reason for the delays, the reason for the strikes, the reason for the mute characters was all because of AI. And she hasn't mentioned AI once. And then she talks about how everybody else is lying. She's so stupid, it's unbelievable. Like, I'm not even trying to be mean. It's so dumb. The line of reasoning over here, it's so dumb. It's unbelievable. It almost doesn't make sense. Not almost, it just doesn't make sense.
Hello? God forbid. I want my industry to actually, like, I don't know, function, and that everybody gets paid, and
You've been working for Genshin Impact for 5 years. Are you saying that you just haven't been, like, nothing's been functional the whole time? Even though you've worked at the same game for 5 fucking years? Like, nothing is...
Everybody gets, like, healthcare?
Yeah, so calling people who disagree with the actions that have been going on from the SAG-AFTRA VAs, like idiots and liars, is probably not gonna help things. Might actually make things worse, really. And
It did.
Also don't know what Corinne is referring to specifically about all these lies on YouTube anyways. To be fair, Corinne wasn't specifically referring to me, but regardless, in my videos I'm basically just taking a look at what these VAs are doing on places like Twitter and Blue Sky, and then what the general reception is to it all on places like our...
Hoyo helped her change studios after she wasn't getting paid. He sounds so annoying to deal with. Like, she sounds so annoying. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Like... I feel like within like a week of knowing this person in real life, you would drop them like a bad habit. Holy, they have to be so insufferably fucking annoying.
Genshin Impact, which, spoiler alert, we will also be doing in this video after we get through everything that Corinne has to say here. So once again, let's continue. I think there's only like 30 seconds or so left.
Did you know that, like, once things become union, people get paid a lot more? So people are like, oh, but, you know, then some non-union actors will have to join the union. Yeah, they'll be able to, easily, because they'll get paid more. Also, there are options that the union has to help pay for those things. There are options to help people pay for the union dues.
You know that Karima, she's saying all this stuff. You know she's actually not in the union. She's actually in something else called FICOR. And so she's not even in SAG-AFTRA. She's not even in the union. But she's talking about it like she is. Wasn't she just earlier talking about how there are like so many people that don't know what it's like, that don't know what it's like to be in the union, that don't know what it's like to like have all these things, and like they're talking about it like they know? She's like the prime example of somebody that's not in the union but is also talking about it. Here are some facts about the union. You need to pay a $3,000 application fee to join SAG-AFTRA. Keyword, application. They can just reject you after you pay it. Then there's a fee every year. That's about 200 plus bucks. I think it's like 250 or 275 that you have to pay, as well as 1.5% of your annual earnings. 1.5% of your annual earnings plus that 275. And you want to know what the cap is on the annual earnings? $10 million. It's 1.5% up to 10 million. And clearly, right, gacha game VAs aren't making that much, but that's just kind of like what the conditions are. I thought it was 250 per month. Yeah, that's why I said 250 to 275. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but it doesn't exceed 300. So yeah, 250 to 275. And so yeah, that's kind of just like, you can kind of see there's a big financial incentive for the union to keep doing whatever it is they're doing. They get a huge chunk of money up front from somebody joining, and then they get guaranteed revenue streams as they go on. And then they can do the whole, oh yeah, because you're in the union now, we can guarantee you more work. Ooh, boy, oh boy. Ooh, amazing.
Within SAG, but you don't know that. Oh my god, it's almost like you're not an actor. It's almost like you're not a voice actor.
So why did she mention the fees? Why did she mention the fees of $3,000 and then the annual fee as well? Do you see like why I keep saying these VAs are lying? I'm not saying that they're lying because they're saying something that's not true. I'm saying that they're fucking lying because they refuse to say things that are extremely relevant to the situation, but are unfortunately a bit damaging to their position or argument, and so they just don't even mention them. Just like how every single VA in support of the strike didn't say anything about Genshin becoming a union game. All they could fucking talk about when it came to the strike was about it being for AI protection. That was all they would repeatedly say about the strike. It was just for AI. It was only for AI. AI was the only thing that was being put on the table. But the fact of the matter is that unions are really the reason why. It was literally like a Trojan horse, a fucking virus. And the best part about all of it is that none of these VAs striking should have even been on the Genshin project in the first place. They shouldn't have been on any non-union project, but they wormed their way in, and now they're holding all the roles hostage. They're holding all of the roles hostage until they can try to force games to unionize. And the only thing that has happened as a result of this is now Genshin players fucking hate the union, and they hate these VAs. Incredible job. Outstanding move. Honestly, there's a theory going around that Paimon's VA, the one you're seeing on the screen over here, was actually a plant by DeWay to sabotage the movement. She did so much damage in 4 days, like 4 to 5 days for the strike, that it almost seems intentional. You know that one gadget in Wuwa where like you can interact with it and like turn back time? Like that's what happens in Amphorius, right? You can like interact with something and like turn back time in like 3 seconds. That's like kind of what Paimon's VA just did here for the entire strike. The past year of like the characters being voiced, it all means absolutely nothing now. It all means absolutely fucking nothing now. There was no point in anybody losing their pay and not taking their roles, all that. It was for nothing. Absolutely nothing. The public is so against the strike now, it's ridiculous.
And neither are these YouTubers. But bottom line is that both non-union actors and union actors in a video game want it to go union and have wanted it to go union for a long time.
Proof? Proof? Like, proof? How can you just say that?
So nobody else's opinion that is super fucking wrong anyway
Proof?
matters. Hope this helps.
Hope this helps. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. I'm gonna be honest here, guys. I feel like even if you were in support of the strike and then you saw that, I feel like you would start losing support. I don't feel like there's any circumstance where this helps any side of the equation. It would have cost her nothing to just say nothing. It would have been easier for her to just not record that and then not post it.
This helps, huh? Well, let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think that video is going to help things? And check this out, because we've actually got a little bit of a plot twist. Perhaps this makes things better, or perhaps it even makes them worse. Because as we went over, that video was posted to Reddit 2 hours ago, but then I went over to Karina's TikTok and found it over there. It turns out that video was actually from March 14th. The plot thickens. Now, interestingly enough,
This was from March 14th?
I did make a video back on March 9th titled English Voice Actors Are in Serious Trouble, because someone tagged me to a YouTube short made by the YouTuber Darkos88, in which Darkos88 was reposting some things that Karina had allegedly said, including right here as you can see.
That's actually news for me. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I wanted to watch the Hero Hey video. Because like I said before, bro finds the glue. Bro finds the evidence. He does the fucking digging. That's actually crazy that that video was from March 14th.
Tell Hoyo to sign the SAG interim contract and all the VAs will come back no problem. And he got a number of comments from people explaining why they don't support the strike and why they don't think people should try and force Hoyo to sign the contract. My video covering those comments and talking about some other issues that people have with the contract on places like Genshin Twitter. I also went over some news articles about some of the actions that the SAG-AFTRA members have been taking and trying to drum up public support for the union. Here's where things get a little more complicated, and take this with a grain of salt because my focus was on the comments people were making, like the Genshin community's opinion on this stuff at large, not Darkos88 specifically. But this is relevant to the video that Karina made, perhaps. Because according to my recollection, loosely looking into this, maybe someone can go into more detail in the comments. I think Darkos88 made a follow-up video after reading the comments he got on his video, where he basically said, like, he was sorry for not looking into things further, and he can understand the reasons that people have for criticizing SAG-AFTRA, and that he essentially shouldn't have just, like, blindly sided with Karina trying to get people to sign the agreement. At some point, it looks like Karina actually got mad at Darkos and like specifically called him out. This led to Darkos deleting a video or something, so it's a bit hard to look into going back. And again, I wasn't really following this anyways. Now some stuff's been deleted, so I'm really not 100% sure about all.
Okay, if everything I said is wrong, I'll take the video down. Bro got bullied by Paimon. However, please keep in mind that my source was from Reddit threads, which has been supported quite accurately by several VAs. Okay.
Take it with a grain of salt, as mentioned. But the point being, perhaps the video that Karina made that we just watched from March 12th was only referencing Darkos88's video and not mine, or perhaps both, who knows. Just trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Doesn't matter who she was referencing, she's still dumb as hell.
Regardless, there's been so much occurring since then regarding the backlash that SAG-AFTRA VAs have been getting for the treatment of Jacob Takanashi. People also criticizing Karina as a hypocrite, as also being a scab for continuing to work on Genshin Impact. I've now got 4 more videos on all this stuff. This will be the 5th video. And plenty of other people on YouTube have also been covering all this recent stuff going on too. So you can only imagine if Karina had all that to say back on March 12th, what a more current take would be like. With that said, let's hop.
She'd just be screaming for 5 minutes. At this point, with the level of escalation that this has taken since March 14th, her next video is literally just going to be her screaming for 5 minutes.
Hop over to our Genshin Impact on the post about that video and see what people are saying about it. We can see top comments reading, LMAO, they're speedrunning, turning people opinion against them or what? Crackhead theory. Karina is secretly being paid off by Hoyo to make SAG look bad.
Honestly, I think this is real. At this point, I haven't seen anybody, like, there's no way somebody is going to own goal themselves this many times in this short of a time frame unless they're, like, intentionally trying to, like, self-sabotage the movement. Like, I'm gonna be real here. She's too good at this. She's too good at being hateable. She's too good at swaying public opinion against herself. This is talent, if I'm gonna be entirely... This is a talent. She's a better heel than any wrestler that has ever, like, donned the mask or entered the ring. She is literally built different. She farms hate like nobody else.
Sarcasm. Another top comment saying, please replace her. And similarly, right below that, this one reading, okay, yeah, Paimon needs a new voice. This ain't it anymore. I can't see Paimon without associating Paimon to her stupidity. The fact that in-game Paimon is not as stupid as her says a lot.
I love, like, these baby insults that, like, you'll see in the Genshin Impact subreddit. Like, these are just baby insults, right? Just call her a fucking idiot. Like, just call her a fucking idiot. Like,
Bar is so low, it's basically underground. Paimon can't read the room and can be quite rude, but she's not a crash out. Plus, she shows real concerns. Paimon does not approve of this. The next one reading, where does this idiot get this confidence? She thinks they won't fire her because she has medical issues? You cannot use your medical issues as a shield to be a complete nincompoop.
are we 10? Whoever wrote this is probably like 12 and their mom proofread it.
And if your medical issues are so serious, why do you keep drawing so much negative press? You're not special. You cannot use your medical issues to threaten them into keeping you hired.
Fair,
Where
though.
does this idiot get this confidence? The fact that Karina had no consequences from all the past controversies, and Hoyoverse intervening when Karina wasn't being paid by Formosa.
This is why I think she's actually getting paid by Hoyo to sabotage the movement. This is why I really think she's getting paid by Hoyo to sabotage the movement and get everybody against every VA who's striking. Think about it this way, guys. Even Karina herself isn't striking. Karina herself is a scab that is currently working despite the strike and has somehow gotten every single player in Genshin Impact against the strike. She is having her cake and then eating it too, if that's the storyline. You guys haven't really, nobody's really thought about it like that, have they? She's getting paid right now to do this. And you know for sure that like Hoyo is like happy that this is going on. Hoyo can now replace whoever they want with no problem at all.
You can't fire her because she is a victim and has a disability. Her words and her VA click, not mine. What if they just don't want to join the union? But
Go fuck yourself.
everyone wants to join the union because everyone is in the US and only the US matters. Like, OMG, read the room, guys, and don't believe those dirty YouTubers. Like, oh my gosh, guys. Yeah, how dare those YouTubers talk about these comments?
How dare the YouTubers go onto the SAG-AFTRA website, read excerpts from their own rules, and then talk about how the VAs are literally breaking the rules that are on the official website. Yeah, we're fucking terrible, guys.
The nerve that they have. The issue is that they have constantly misrepresented their point as something that it never truly was. It was just about control, but they couldn't say that, so they left it for us to ask about. When we did, many of them crashed out because the answer's trash, and they know it. This isn't even mentioning that no union actor should have been on the project to begin with.
That's the critical blow. That's the critical blow, is just like nobody that was in SAG-AFTRA that was striking ever talked about how they weren't even supposed to be on the Genshin Impact project in the first place. Why did nobody mention that? I've said it in a prior video, or I might have said it prior before, but this is the main thing. Every single Genshin Impact, or really Hoyoverse game player, feels so absurdly betrayed by every VA that was striking, because now that all of these details have come out, now that all of these details are under the public eye, people are now just wondering, have my characters just had no voice for a year for absolutely no fucking reason? Have they just gone unvoiced for no fucking reason? Because clearly it wasn't for AI protections. It was so that you guys could cover up the fact that you were breaking your own union rules in the first place by even voicing on this project. This strike was one of the most selfish, self-centered fucking like, ooh, I'm just gonna try to like fuck over everybody else to get mine. That's how everybody views it now. And all these people, right, who are just like, oh, so much respect for these VAs who are sacrificing so much in order to ensure better working rights. Oh my gosh, the position is so legitimate. Everyone's just like, wow, that was a bunch of bullshit. You guys were just lying the whole time. That's a level of betrayal that's going to take a lot to recover from. And the fact that there aren't any VAs even trying to address it at all, boy, oh boy, it's going to get worse.
According to the Global One rule thing. Or that they have been bullying a coworker because he got a role he might not have known he was auditioning for. This also ignores that AI protection is an empty point because SAG-AFTRA literally partnered with some. Okay, team, we're starting to lose favor with the public and we're losing it fast. How can we improve our image? Paimon VA, don't worry, gang, I got this.
I still got one more in me.
Narrator, she didn't get it. Okay, let me know what you think about all that Paimon stuff in the comments. Moving on, we're going to end with one more post from Boijing with more comments from the Chinese community about all this stuff.
Oh, this is the best part. This has to be the best part of the video. This is gonna be the best part of the video. Let me move my camera so we can see all these CN comments in their full glory. Oh, I'm ready. CM Paimon is a cute little angel. JP Paimon is a cute Sukomi. KR Paimon is our cute buddy. And Eon Paimon is a screaming rat. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Oh, no.
Or more specifically, the CN reaction to the EN reaction to the CN reaction to the EN reaction to the CN reaction to the EN Kinich drama, VA drama, excuse me. Dang, this is getting confusing. Translated Chinese comments reading, CN Paimon is a cute little angel, JP Paimon is a cute Sukomi, KR Paimon is our cute buddy, and EN Paimon is a screaming rat. Ha, this is so accurate, my guy. A rat that is getting branded with hot iron. Grilled rat, lol.
Hide your Jane Does.
By the way, these comments are from Billy. Should have mentioned that a moment ago. Continuing. To my EN bros, who are not familiar with what's been going on over here about the mass deleting of your posts, how can we help? Also, I remember that Hoyoverse has a platform called Hoyolab, right? Do EN bros also not like to chat on Hoyo-made platforms?
They pissed off CN, man. She managed to... Remember what I said before? That, like, Paimon's VA is, like, an intergenerational talent at, like, farming hate? She literally spoke an entire rant in English, and she managed to piss off China. Like, that is impressive. She literally has global aggro range on her taunt. Literally global aggro range on her taunt move.
I suddenly realized if Paimon's story is going to become depressive in the future, what if we can't empathize with her because her English VA? That would really make her English VA's actions unforgivable. I really hope they recast her VA.
Same. Unless she's getting paid by Hoyo, in which case this is a 300, 500 IQ move.
It's kind of relating to the points I was mentioning way earlier in the video about how these things can negatively impact the game. Continuing. Paimon's ENVA is truly evil to listen to. Every time I watch her playthrough clips with the EN dub and hear her talk, I get a headache. Oh.
Hey, the sentiment is shared globally.
And the text on the left this time, too, reads, "The indifference is already happening. The final boss Paimon theory is super popular in EN community, and the core reason why is because of her VO quality is worse than the other languages, and it makes her less likable, not to mention her VA's actions previously in the game when Paimon told us that we need to earn more money to keep her fed. CN, JP, KR were all like, aw, while EN players were disliking her for that line."
I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say it.
My favorite Genshin CC is Murder of Birds, Twitch/YouTube streamer, so I list to EN dub second most to CN dub. I really do think that a lot of EN dubs are really good, like Frina, Clorind, Navia, Arle. I even used EN dub for a while just for Navia. Now I think that the EN dub fans are having it really rough. Everything is just so messy now.
Well, yeah, they're having it rough because half the fucking characters aren't voiced because of this bullshit strike that is basically happening because the VAs want the game to be fucking unionized, but they lied and said it was all for AI.
Fontaine EN dub is the best. Global players agree too. I was looking forward to the future EN dubs at the time. Such a shame that everything blew up after Fontaine.
And you wanna know the best part about this? You wanna know who's not in the union? You wanna know who's not in the union and might have to be taken off the project? Amber Lee Connors, Farina's voice actor. You know, pretty much the highlight of Fontaine, Amber Lee Connors, who had that amazing voice acting performance in all of 4.0. She's actually not in the union. And guess who hasn't been talking this entire time? Guess who hasn't been talking? Basically everybody under Sound Cadence, which is the studio that Farina's from. She's the owner of Sound Cadence, actually. And guess what Sound Cadence has, guys? AI protections built into their contracts for the VAs. And so if you work on a Sound Cadence project, which Hoyo is affiliated with, you get AI protections. So somehow, some of the VAs are able to do it, but everybody that is in SAG-AFTRA can't do it. That's funny how it works. It seems like the only people that don't have the AI protections are the people who are in SAG-AFTRA. Surely it's not because of what SAG-AFTRA is doing. Yeah, that seems like the only common link. It really just seems like SAG-AFTRA is the common link here. Interesting. Weird how that works.
I was the one who suggested that Hoyo can use British VAs in the last post. I'm very happy to see that it got noticed. Sorry for French users catching astray. I was using Britain as an example of an accent that I prefer more than US accent. French is quite common globally. I do wish Hoyo to have French dub if it's possible too.
There's a reason why Verisa is Rover's VA and why Mizuki is, what's her name, Yinlin's VA.
Finally, I welcome everyone who's been missing out the game experience because of the ENVA strike to try out the CN dub. Who knows, maybe you'll like it. After this video gets shipped back, I wish the EN travelers can see me. Here you go.
Fucking CN cloud chasers.
I also really want to see French, German, Spanish dubs. Going off track for a second, if my comment gets shipped, it is. I want to ask our EN friends if they see the Paimon singing event where she hums a song and we had to guess what it was. I think it was when the Stellar Moments Volume 3 album came out. She was so cute. I just want to praise CN Paimon lol. Bro, what is this reaction, Samsara? We might as well keep up this EN-CN communication. I don't even have to use a VPN. It's pretty interesting, don't you think? It's like throwing paper notes to each other over the wall. Only the OP/content creator needs to bear the weight of finding these posts, translating these posts, and making videos about it. I'm not a
These guys are just having a fucking AOL chat.
profession, but I was pretty interested in the two legal related questions I used DeepSeek to get an answer, see below. We're gonna skip that part because I'm running out of time, but you're welcome to screenshot that if you'd like and take a look. And then finally,
Let's take a look at this. Under current Chinese and judicial practice, MiHoYo may face legal risks if it uses AI synthesized voices without the individual's consent. And this is not limited to Chinese voiceovers. China already has laws against AI reproduction of voices without consent. What are these guys doing? Were they just hoping that nobody would ever look at the... Well, I guess nobody was looking at the details for months. Yeah, nobody was looking at the details for years. So I guess they were just banking on people being too lazy. Being too lazy to actually, like, do the digging and find their own evidence. and find the proof, right? Question 2. If MiHoYo were to sign the SAG-AFTRA agreement, what trouble would they face in China? If MiHoYo, as a member of China's All China Federation of Trade Unions, ACFTU, were to sign an agreement with SAG-AFTRA, it would constitute a serious violation of Chinese and ACFTU regulations. Okay, so you're basically just asking MiHoYo to break the law in China. Is every VA striking right now just, like, actually stupid? Honestly, I was of the opinion before that, like, all of these people that were working in spite of the strike were, like, you know, they were being, like, malicious, right? Everybody was led to believe that the strike was being good, was like being done for a good reason. Now I just have to believe that everybody that was working in spite of the strike is actually just smart. They're just actually not stupid. They actually read all the details and they're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna work anyways. Yeah, this strike is fucking stupid. This doesn't even seem real. This doesn't even seem real. Like, I kind of, a part of me hopes that, like, this isn't true. A part of me hopes that this is like, there's a lot of skepticism here. Because I can't believe that so many VAs could be this fucking stupid. I don't want to believe that such a huge part of, like, these games and so many VAs could have been this actually dumb. It's getting to the point where I, like, would start losing faith in humanity from how stupid these people are, how they thought nobody was gonna, like, do research or, like, find the actual, like, facts about the situation, and that they were just gonna ride this wave of misinformation until they were able to, like, get the goals they wanted. Like, was that actually what they thought was gonna happen? Was that actually, like, I don't know. I don't even know at this point, man. But the thing is, this could not be true, right? This is machine translated. This is, like, you know, from an AI in the first place. But I do believe that these always come with citations. I do believe that anything that when you ask an AI a question, it always comes with, like, citations and, like, linked articles of, like, where they parse the information from. And so I do have at least a slight level of confidence that this stuff is true, because there's no other way for AI to produce it unless they're willing to, like, provide, like, the proof, right? And provide, like, the citations and the source. Every single AI, like, search engine, when you ask it a question, does that. It provides the sources. And so I'm pretty sure that's what was going on over here.
Finally, we've got this one that reads, I wonder if this video will get shipped to Reddit again. I haven't finished watching this video yet. I just want to say, let's go America, basically, I think is what that means. So yeah, pretty fun stuff. Let me know also what you guys think about those comments. And shouts out to the CN Bros. And again, thanks to Boijing on Reddit for...
There's one thing that Hero Hey missed over here. Apparently, this has been going on. I find it hilarious that Hoyoverse isn't even the cruel ones that are heartlessly recasting SAG-AFTRA cast for no reason, but rather it's the CN player base that is threatening to drop their game if they don't recast the EN voices. Imagine screwing up so badly the CN players want you gone. Expanding on the CN players' response, according to friends in China, players are uninstalling the game in droves as a protest and sending emails to Peng Bo, the voice director, demanding him to pressure the English side and have the unprofessional VAs removed. It apparently got so bad that Hoyoverse or MiHoYo made an official statement asking people to stop because it was freezing the voice director's computer. I'm gonna be real here. Yeah, these guys absolutely just cook themselves. I'm gonna be real. I don't know how any game in the future that, like, needs a dub. Obviously, we don't know how true this is. We don't know how true this is. This is just a random take from a YouTube comment. It might be true, it might not be true, but considering that we know what the Genshin Impact community does, I do believe it's slightly believable. We've seen the dark sides of the Genshin community. We've seen the dark sides of the Genshin community. They're fully capable of spamming a guy's email so much his computer freezes. That's probably in, like, the lower end, like, in terms of severity. I was gonna say, when it comes to all these VAs that are striking, that have kind of been openly exposed for lying through omission on every single claim that they've made in regards to the strike, the next time that there's a game that has, like, an EN dub or needs any type of work, I'm not gonna lie, I would be so fucking hesitant to, like, I don't see any reason why all of these VAs that are striking should just not be blacklisted. I'm gonna be entirely honest. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be blacklisted, because this is just behavior over here that is just straight up, like, unacceptable. They lied. They've been lying for months. They've been holding roles hostage so that essentially the games join the union and they can make more money. The union has, like, some sort of stipulation where even if you voice a role and it only requires requires 30 minutes of work to voice the entire role for like an NPC, you have to get paid for 4 hours of work. So they have conditions like that where it's like, yeah, it's like one of the arguments that VA was bringing was that they wanted to get paid for work they didn't do. They wanted to get paid for 4 hours of work when they did 30 minutes for the character. Like, I don't know what type of person is just gonna be like, yeah, dude, will you support my strike? I'm refusing to work on your game because I want to get paid for work that I didn't do. Can you support me? Be like, shut the fuck, go fuck yourself. Like, go to work. Like, that's what most people, they would say, go to work, you fucking bum. And so that's why all these VAs were basically just saying, yeah, it's all for AI, guys. I swear it's all for AI protections. That's the only reason why we're striking. They just lied. They've been holding these characters hostage for years. They've been basically ruining the English dub for so many gacha games. They ruined Genshin Impact. They ruined Honkai Star Rail. And they tried to ruin ZZZ, but ZZZ started recasting. They've just been doing it intentionally to get their own bag. It's not for AI, it's out of greed. And especially when the economy is like this, when people know the struggle of like the day-to-day, holy shit, it has to be one of like just the most ridiculous exposés the space has ever had. So with that, awesome vid by Hero Hey. Like I said before, the reason why we're watching his is because he always brings the glue, right? He always brings all the additional evidence. He always gets that CN opinion, does the additional research, and yeah, helps compile all this stuff up. But yeah, hopefully this entire situation has become a lot more clear. Hopefully we've covered all of the different elements of it, because this has to be one of the stinkiest fucking things the space has ever seen. And it is absolutely 1,000,000% disgusting what these VAs have done to ruin Genshin Impact and also ruin their own fucking careers. I'm not gonna lie. I've never seen this much damage done in 4 days. Paimon's VA should be studied. They should be studied. Let me know what you all think. Peace.